Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be doing some more exercises or some more questions on critical reasoning. We have already done 4 exercises in the previous videos, and we have discussed the skills or the techniques that we can use in finding the solutions in critical reasoning questions, which are also applicable for reading comprehension passages that we have already seen. So the basic technique is just this: you have to read very closely, clearly, and understand the things very clearly, and very minute analysis is required. Only then you will be able to zero in or identify the correct answer without a problem within the least possible time. Otherwise you will go around in circles and you will be losing a lot of time. So this is why the reading skill is the most important thing, either in critical reasoning or in para jumble or para summary or in reading comprehension. So you need to be able to read English language properly in a fast manner, understand everything very clearly and minutely, then do the analysis based on whatever techniques we have learned, and then arrive at the solution. And people who are watching this channel for the first time, I would suggest that you go through the first video on critical reasoning, where we have discussed the differences between fact, inference, assumption and judgment, so that you are able to understand the basic concepts clearly, so that you can follow the details that we are discussing in the current video. So please watch that first video properly and then come back to this video. So without further ado, we'll be going straight to the questions. So the first question, please read the question, understand the passage, go through the options and find out the correct answer. I'll give you some time, then we will discuss. All right. So, what is the passage discussing? It is talking about a venture undertaken by this company called Bleach Green. What did they do? They promoted a new laundry detergent. What is a laundry detergent? In simple English, a washing powder. So, this new washing powder promoted by Bleach Green was marketed as safer for the environment. Why they have marketed this new product? Because they have found out from a survey that the US consumers, or the consumers in America, they are willing to spend 10% more for the washing powders that are environmentally friendly or ecologically sound. Ecologically sound means environment friendly, that they are not causing any harm to the environment. So the consumers are willing to spend 10% more for any products that are not harmful for to the environment. So based on this survey, the company promoted a new detergent or a washing powder, and they priced it at 5% more than the typical washing powder or a normal washing powder. The price of the new environment friendly washing powder was 5% more than the typical detergent. Why? Because they know that the consumers are willing to spend even up to 10% more. So they priced it at 5% more. But after what happened after 1 year, this company's product was not able to capture the market, as a result of which it was withdrawn from sale. So these are the facts given to us. Now our question is, which is the least likely to be relevant in determining the reason for the failure of bleach green. So why did the product fail? So in understanding the reasons for the failure of the product, which of the options is not relevant or not important? So how can you find it? You have to go through the statements, see whether the statement is important in finding out the reason for the failure of the product. If it is important, then ignore it. If it is not very important, that should be your answer. So this is the technique. So first option, how effective as a detergent was bleach green. So the new product, whether it was a good detergent or a bad detergent. So they have marketed it as environment friendly. So the question is whether the detergent is actually able to perform its primary function. What is its primary objective? It is to be effective as a washing powder. So if it is not effective as a washing powder, even if it is environment friendly, people will use it. We don't know, people may not be using it because its primary function as a detergent, if it is not effective. So this question is actually the relevant in determining the reason for the failure. So whether the product was actually effective in executing or doing its primary function. So this is a relevant question in understanding the failure of the product. Since it is relevant, it is not our answer. Option B, how many other detergents on the market were promoted as safe for the environment? By the way, it is not on the market. There is a typing mistake here. It is in the market. So it is how many other detergents in the market were promoted as safe for the environment. So it's talking about the competition. So if there are a lot of products in the market, other detergents which are also marketed as safe for the environment, and even if they are priced competitively, or if they are having already a lot of market share, then this new product by Bleach Green may not be successful, because capturing the market where a lot of players are already there is not so easy. So this again is a very relevant concept in understanding the reason for the failure. Since it is important, this is not our answer. Now, how much more did bleach or green cost to manufacture than ordinary detergent? So what is the cost of manufacture of this new product compared to ordinary detergents? So is it relevant or not? You think about it, whether the cost of manufacture, because we know that they have priced the product at 5% more than the normal detergent. Why they have priced it at 5% more? Obviously, the cost of production should be more. So if since the cost of production is more, they have priced it at 5%. And why? So from this, what we can understand, that they are actually pricing it at a they are actually putting it or selling it at a price which is beneficial for them, or which is giving them a lot of at least a good profit. So why the cost of manufacture is important? The cost of manufacture will be important only to determine the selling price. So because how much it costs to manufacture a product, it directly has a bearing on the selling price of the product. So here we know that the company is selling the product at 5% more than the normal detergent, even though the consumers are willing to spend 10% more. So 10% more consumers are willing to spend, but still the company is not pricing it at 10%, it is pricing it only at 5%. Means what? Even at 5%, the company is making a profit. So whether this is relevant or not, this is not relevant, because the manufacturing cost will become relevant only if to check whether the company is making a profit or not. The company would have obviously made a profit. That is why they are selling the product only at 5% more than the normal detergent, even though they know that the customers are willing to spend up to 10%. So obviously from this we know that the company is able to make a profit at 5%. So there is no need to understand what is the cost of manufacture, as long as we know that the company is able to sell it at a profit. So this is not a good answer. This is not a relevant thing in understanding the failure, because we already know that the company is making a profit by selling it at the current price. So this may not be a relevant thing in understanding the failure. So it could be your answer. So keep it in your mind. Then option D, to what extent did consumers accept the validity of bleach green advertised? So it talks about whether the consumers believed the advertisements given by bleach green saying that it is a environment friendly product. If the consumers are not believing in the advertisements put out by bleach green, they may not be buying it. So this again is a relevant thing in understanding why it failed. Option E, again the same thing. What D and E are talking about the same thing, or effectively was bleach green advertised and promoted. So both these options are talking about the effectiveness of the advertisements put out by bleach green. If they were effective, people would have bought the product. If they were not effective, people would not have bought the product. So both these options are important in understanding why the product failed. So since they are important in understanding, it is relevant. We need an option which is not relevant. So these are again wrong. So the only thing that is not relevant or least likely to be relevant in determining the reason will be option C. So this is how you arrive at the answer through logical analysis. Hope it is clear to you. Now we will go to the second question. if you can understand the first sentence, you will understand the argument. So our question is to find a statement that weakens the argument. So in order to find the statement that weakens the argument, we have to first understand what is the argument in the passage. The first sentence gives you the argument. What is the argument? The argument is that the tax structure for vehicles going through the US highway system, it is disproportionately favored against the trucking industry. Means the, what is the meaning? Means the burden of maintaining the US highway system falls disproportionately on the trucking industry. Means trucks have to pay more taxes than other vehicles. So that is why the burden of maintaining the system is disproportionately put on the trucking industry. So trucks have to pay more taxes, and it is explained further in the next two sentences. What it says, trucks are only 10% of the total vehicles using the highways in USA, but the 50% of taxes are paid by trucks. So that is the why the passage is arguing that it is disproportionately favored against the trucking industry. Means it is not favorable for the trucking industry. So the tax system of maintaining the US highways means they might be levying tolls for from different kinds of vehicles going through the highways, and for these tolls the trucks will be having to pay more tolls than other vehicles. And that is why it says that only 10% trucks are only forming only 10% of the total vehicles using the highways, but their the contribution from tax make up 50% of the total taxes paid by the vehicles. So almost 50% of the taxes paid are by the vehicles which are just 10% of the total vehicles. This is the meaning. So that is the argument. So argument is saying that this is not correct. The trucking industry has to pay more taxes than other vehicles for maintaining the US highway system. So that is the argument. So you have to find a statement that weakens the argument. Means you have to find a statement that justifies the higher amount of taxes paid by the trucks. So this is the meaning. So you have to only find a statement that justifies why trucks have to pay more taxes than other vehicles when going through the US highways. So if you are able to find that, your answer will be very simple. So once you do the analysis, the answer becomes very, very clear. Option A, the trucking industry has enjoyed record profit after tax profits in 3 of the past 4 years. Means this industry has made a lot of profit during the past 3 of the past 4 years. Since the industry is very profitable, let us tax them more. Is this a good argument? It is not at all a good argument. Just because the industry is profitable, it is not reasonable to say that the US highways are taxing truckers more than other vehicles. So that is not a correct argument that can weaken the argument, that can weaken the statement above. So this is not a good answer. You can ignore it. Option B, because of their weight, trucks cause 50% of the damage sustained by the highway surfaces each year. So this is a good answer. Why? Because as I told you, we have to find a statement that justifies why trucks are having to pay more taxes than other vehicles. So here the justification is there, because why trucks are having more weight, because of that a lot of damage is sustained by the highway surfaces. And what is the taxes used for? The taxes are used for highway upkeep and repair. So whatever taxes the vehicles are paying, that taxes are used for maintaining the highway. So since most of the damage caused to the highways are by the trucks, they have to pay 50%. So 50% of the damage caused to the highways are by the trucks. So they have to contribute to 50% of the taxes. So this is a good argument that justifies why trucks have to pay more taxes. So this could be your answer. Keep it in your mind. Option C, without an economically viable trucking industry, the cost of goods in the US would rise significantly. So it is an argument that supports this theory, or it is a statement that supports the theory that it is unfair. So the argument is that it is unfair on the trucking industry, that they have to pay more taxes. Option C is also supporting it. We need a statement that weakens it. So when you say that when trucks have to pay more taxes, it will lead to the increase in the cost of goods in USA. That is actually a statement that supports the argument that it is unfair that trucks have to pay more taxes. So we need a statement that weakens the argument, not supporting the argument or strengthening the argument. That is why C is not a good answer. Keep it in. You can eliminate it. Then option D, road use taxes paid by trucking companies have decreased by 3% over the past five years. Means there is a marginal reduction in the taxes paid by truckers. Will it justify the higher taxes paid by truckers? It will not justify the higher taxes paid by truckers. We have to find a statement that justifies the higher taxes. Here it says that the taxes have reduced. It is not justifying the higher taxes. So again, not a good answer. You can eliminate it. Option E, due to years of neglect, US highways today are badly in need of major repairs. So this repairs and maintenance. So that maintenance part is uh, omitted, not a problem. Due to years of neglect, US highways today are badly in need of major repairs and maintenance. Means US highways need repair maintenance, so more taxes have to be paid. In such case, more taxes have to be paid by all the vehicles. But here we are only talking about trucks. So this again is not a statement that justifies why trucks have to pay excess taxes. So that is why this also is not a good answer. So we have a very clear answer in option B, which clearly justify why trucks have to pay more tax, because they are causing 50% of the damage to the highways, and the taxes are used for maintaining the highways. And since the money has to be used for maintaining, whoever is causing the damage, they have to pay 50% of the taxes. This is why option B is a statement that clearly weakens the argument. This will be our answer. So when these kind of questions are asked, your technique will be first understand what is the argument, very clearly understand what is the argument, then find a statement that weakens the argument, or find a statement that is acting in the opposite direction. That should be your technique. And this if you remember this technique correctly in while tackling these kind of questions, your answers will never go wrong. In fact, candidates find these kind of questions in RC passages and critical reasoning very tough. Whenever there are questions related to weakening, strengthening kind of arguments, they are not able to clearly find the logic because of in my opinion, it is basically because of an incorrect or an incomplete understanding of the passage. So you have to understand the passage very clearly and the argument very correctly. Always reduce the argument into a simple idea. So how can you reduce this argument into a simple idea? Trucks are having to pay more taxes, which is wrong. That is a simple idea. So you have to find a statement that weakens this. Means you have to find a statement that says no, trucks have to pay more taxes. It is correct. If you understand it that way, your answer will become very clear. So I hope this is a technique becomes clear to you. As we do more exercises, you will be able to master this technique without too much of a problem. All right, go to the third question. You have to find an assumption made in the passage. What is an assumption? We have discussed in the first video when we discussed about the basic concepts of critical reasoning. Assumption is a unstated fact that supports or leads to the conclusion. So it is the assumptions will not be clearly stated in the passage. You have to deduce the assumption from whatever facts are given to you, and that assumption should be supporting or leading to the conclusion or the argument. So what is the argument here? The argument is that the American government is concerned about the upcoming election in this particular country called Ganilon in West Africa. West Africa is a territory or a region in African continent, and there is a particular country called Ganilon. And there is an election going to happen, and this election is having is giving serious concern. Grave concern means serious concern in the US department, because why there is a concern? Ganelon has got very strong relations with USA, either with both politically and militarily, and the Socialist Party is expected to win the election, and this is leading to fears. So this is the most important thing. This is leading to fears. Leading to fears means the Americans are afraid, or the American government is afraid that if the Socialist Party wins the election, they will decide to break away from the pro-American bloc. Means they will end the military and political ties with USA and adopt either a non-aligned policy or an openly American stand. What is a non-aligned policy? Without aligning with any particular bloc, or without aligning with either the American bloc or the anti-American bloc, and adopt the unbiased or a non-partisan approach, or become completely anti-American. So these two possibilities are there. The American government is expecting that if the Socialist Party is winning the election, they will either become non-aligned or openly anti-American. So what is the assumption? So by reading this, the argument itself or the conclusion itself, you can find the assumption. Assumption is something that is leading to the conclusion. So and it has to be supported by the facts given. It should not be contradicting the facts in the passage. So what is the clear assumption here? Clear assumption is that the Socialist Party is not really friendly with the USA, or they are not very keen to continue the friendly relationship with USA. That is why the American government is afraid that if they win the election, they will either become non-aligned or they will become openly anti-American. This is the meaning. So once we have understood that, the answer becomes very clear. So we'll first discuss the options one by one. Option A, Socialist Party government in Caledon is more likely to oppose the country's ties with the US state than a non-Socialist Party government. Yes. So what is the meaning? Means the Socialist Party is not very keen to continue the friendly relationship with USA. So they are likely to oppose the country's ties with the USA. So they are more likely to oppose the country's ties with the USA than a non-Socialist Party government. So any other government comes into being, the USA is not afraid, because the US government is afraid that Socialist Party is expected to win the election, and that is leading to their fears. So their fear is on the basis of the expectation that Socialist Party is going to win the election, and that is why this is supported. If a non-Socialist Party government is coming, American government is not afraid, because they will continue to have a friendly relation. But a Socialist Party government is not likely to have a friendly relation. They are not likely to oppose the country's ties with the USA. So this is a good assumption that leads to the conclusion that American government is afraid that this government will make this Ganelon will break away from pro-America and bloc and become non-aligned or anti-American. So this is why it is a good assumption that leads to the conclusion. So keep it in your mind. Option B, the people of the US recognize their nation's interest in the political stability of West Africa. Means the people are recognizing that their nation has got a lot of interest in the political stability of West Africa. What is the problem here? The first problem is people. The people of USA. Are we discussing anything about the opinion of the people of USA? We are only talking about the fears by the US government. So the government may not be the people. People means they are having different, they might be having different opinion. We are only talking about the fears that are expressed by the US government. So the people of the USA is wrong, because it is not supported by the facts. The facts are not discussing anything regarding the opinion of the people. Then another parties recognize their nation's interest. Yes, the US government has a lot of interest in Ganelon. We know that, because they have a lot of political and military ties. But in the political stability of West Africa, this is the problem. See, West Africa is a region. We are only talking about one country called Ganelon, which is situated in the West Africa. So West Africa means a region, the western part of Africa, where a lot of countries are there. And West African Republic of Ganelon means a country which is a republic which is situated in West Africa. So we have, the American government is not at all concerned regarding the political stability of West Africa, means that region. The passage is not saying anything about that region. It is only talking about the political stability of a West African country of Ganelon, not of West Africa. So this is why this option is contradicting, this assumption is contradicting, or it is not supported by the facts given in the passage. So any assumption which is not supported by the facts should not be a good assumption. You can ignore it. Option C, a weakening of US political ties with Galeon could have serious consequences for US relations with other African countries. So it says that the American government is assuming that when the Galeon ties with USA is weakened, means it will have serious consequences for US relationship with other African nations. Can we make this assumption? Again, an assumption should be supported by the facts. There are no facts given in the passage regarding the US relations with other African nations. There is absolutely nothing. The American government is only talking about their concerns that the Guerrillon will break away from the American bloc and become non-aligned or anti-American. And whether it will lead to political instability or serious consequences in the entire region, nothing is stated in the passage. When any assumption is not supported by a fact, you should ignore it. So this assumption is not having any facts to support it. So that is why this is a wrong assumption. Option D, the Socialist Party leaders in Cameroon believe that the nation's interest would be best served by an alliance with anti-American forces. So this is seems like a good assumption, because why the Americans are afraid that the Socialist Party government, if it is winning the election, it will break away, because they feel that Socialist Party leaders are believe that their nation's interest would be best served by an alliance with anti-American forces. So the Americans are fearing this because they believe that Socialist Party leaders are not really interested in maintaining ties with USA. So this also is a good assumption. Keep it in your mind. Option E, the Socialist Party will win the upcoming elections in Galilee. Is this a assumption? Socialist Party will win the upcoming election. So this is not an assumption, because it is a fact. It is already given here. The Socialist Party is widely expected to win. Widely expected to win means likely to win. So it is again saying Socialist Party will win. So this assumption, it cannot be treated as an assumption. Anything that is directly stated in the passage will be a fact, not an assumption. As a result of which, this will not be an assumption. So because it is already given that it is widely expected to win, so means it is very much likely to win. Here it says it will definitely win. So there is a small difference, but still it is not an assumption. Assumption should be an unstated fact. This is almost stated here. So that is why this cannot be a good assumption. Now you have two good answers, option A and option D. When you have two good answers, again go through the options very minutely and look for any kind of inconsistencies. So here option Socialist Party government in Galeon is more likely to oppose the country's ties with USA than a non-Socialist Party government. There is no mistake here. The Socialist Party leaders are not really interested in continuing friendship with USA. This is the meaning. So this is a good answer, again, not a problem. It is supported by the facts here. Option D, the Socialist Party leaders believe that their nation's interest would be best served by an alliance with anti-American forces. So the last part, there is a problem. See, an assumption should be supported by a fact. So what is the fact given to us? If Socialist Party wins the election, the country will either become non-aligned or become anti-American. Whereas this option D is saying that they will definitely become anti-American. So the Socialist Party leaders are definitely anti-American. That is a simple statement in option D. Whereas this option says that they are not very keen to continue the friendly relationship with the USA. So which is a better answer? We can only say that the Socialist Party leaders are not likely to be friendly with USA. That does not mean that they have to be completely anti-American. Whereas this option says that they will become completely anti-American. It contradicts with the fact given, because the fact given to us says that they will either become non-aligned or become anti-American. So two possibilities are there. Either they will become non-aligned or become anti-American. Whereas this option says that they will definitely become anti-American, which is not really correct. So this is a weakness in option D, whereas option A is very clearly saying that they are not likely to be friendly with America. So just because you are don't want to be friendly with America does not mean that you have to be completely against America. You can adopt a non-aligned stand also. That is why A will be a better answer than D, because D has this problem where it is contradicting with the facts given in the passage. So any assumption that is not supported by the fact should not be a good assumption. So when you compare A and D, A should be the better answer. So this is how you go apply the concepts of fact, inference, assumption and conclusion in your critical reasoning. This is very much valid in your reading comprehension passages also, because RC passages will definitely have questions like this. Previously, they used to have separate set of critical reasoning questions in all management exams. Now they are gradually reducing that. They are including all these critical reasoning aspects in the RC passages and the questions connected with the RC passages. So you need to have very good skill in applying the concepts. Only then you will be able to find the answers. So I hope with the future videos we'll be doing more exercises like this, and your skill in finding the answer in the least possible time will become more and more acute as we go along. So I hope this video has been informative and it has given you some insights into how to tackle the questions in RC passages and critical reasoning. We will be coming back with more videos in future. If you have found the content to be useful, please like, share and subscribe. If you have any doubts or any kind of uh, clarifications, please join the WhatsApp group. The link is given in the description below the video. So you can join the WhatsApp group, ask me any doubts on this RC, para jumble, para summary, critical reasoning, anything. I'll be giving you detailed replies. So thank you and we'll meet again. Bye bye.